So welcome to the Friends of the Rouge's annual membership meeting. My name is Marie McCormick, Executive Director of Friends of the Rouge, joining you this afternoon from the sun porch in my home in Dearborn. I have this unique honor of kicking off this digital experience today as a second virtual annual meeting for the organization. We really miss seeing you in person, but I have really high hopes with recent vaccine developments that we will be able to break bread together next year's meeting. So 2020 marked several moments in human antiquity that will be forever etched in global history books. Moments that rocked us to our very core and made us examine ourselves in a unique and profound way. When we look back at 2020, I pause to reflect on how Friends of the Rouge reacted to two life-altering global events: the COVID-19 pandemic and the racial justice movement spurred by a national reckoning with systemic racism and violence towards Black Americans. I hope our comments this afternoon create an open forum to communicate the action that Friends of the Rouge has taken this year to advance our mission. Your thoughts and comments matter. Please share. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the monumental impact that COVID-19 has had across our globe, the lives lost, families grieving, and those who serve at the front lines in healthcare, first responders, and all essential workers who put their lives on the line every day for the greater good. Thank you to all of you. This also merits a pause to consider all those who have lost their livelihood, their businesses, to those who have experienced extreme economic hardship as a result of this crisis. This moment in time has touched each of us in a unique way, and I have commonly heard we are not all in the same boat, but we're all in the same storm. In the past years, Friends of the Rouge has recognized the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion work, really with little to no thoughtful process in the matter within our organization. Yet, some significant horrific events of racial injustice that occurred in 2020, which brought a spotlight on this issue, could no longer be quietly discussed. The Desmond Tutu quote, "If you are neutral in situations of injustice, then you have chosen the side of the oppressor," rang particularly true for me when watching the news of those events unfold, and prompted Friends of the Rouge to put out a statement of solidarity, an action otherwise unimaginable in the history of this organization. From that moment, we have doubled down on our efforts to open our eyes, to accept the fact that we need to do better in connecting with our diverse community and address our lack of internal diversity. The Rouge watershed encompasses an incredibly broad cross-section of people in the state of Michigan, with around 50%, 57% white and 43% non-white. We realize our staff and leadership didn't reflect the communities we wish to serve, and began to work through some glaring barriers to diversification. While Friends of the Rouge has faced some critical challenges ourselves in the last year, we've been fortunate to have such an amazing and resilient team of dedicated staff, board members, volunteers, and members to offer many unique alternative experiences to participate in the programming you have come to love. We will take a moment of silence to demonstrate respect, raise awareness, and affirm the ongoing relationship between our Indigenous people, the Indigenous people and the land. We acknowledge our ancestral tradition. We acknowledge the ancestral tradition and contemporary lands in which our watershed exists. So Friends of the Rouge mission is to restore, protect, and enhance the Rouge River watershed through stewardship, education, and collaboration. You can see here on the left image, it's the red spot. The Rouge River encompasses a large part of the Detroit metropolitan area in Southeast Michigan. The red is urban on this map and home to about a quarter of the people in the state of Michigan. It covers 48 communities, 3 counties, 127 river miles, and over 500 miles of tributaries. All our success wouldn't be possible without your support. So normally at this time, I would ask all our current members to stand up and be recognized. While that's not possible with this virtual experience, I want I want you to know how thankful we are for your continued support. As the backbone to the organization, you provide the fuel that drives our mission. And as a result, the Friends of the Rouge continues to successfully sustain and expand programs and priorities to preserve, protect, and enhance the Rouge River watershed. If you're not currently a member and would like to know more, please visit us online to sign up. We'd love to have you. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the organizations that are supporting a better river at a watershed donor level. If you have questions about business or nonprofit support opportunities, please contact Laura Edwards. These are our wonderful 2021 board members, and that's because we didn't get a Brady Bunch photo of our 2020 board members. These dedicated individuals have generously given of their time, talent, and treasure, these 3 T's of a successful board member. Each one of them have grown exceptionally over the past year, stepping up as dedicated committee members, fundraisers, committing to the exciting prospects for organizational sustainability. In 2020, and I will name and acknowledge each of our board members. And first, I'll acknowledge our president. In 2020 was Laura Wagner with Ford Motor Company, and she is still our president now. Laura, if you'd like to introduce yourself and say a few words, I'd love to give you that opportunity.
Hi, I didn't think I was going to be able to speak because I was muted, but welcome everybody. It's an honor to be a member of the board of directors of such a great organization, and to be able to have this opportunity to share all the wonderful work that the staff has been working on and the obstacles that they overcame in 2020. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Laura. And Laura is our fearless leader and chair of our board. And we're so grateful that she stepped into this position. And she is continuing that tradition in 21. So thank you, Laura. Our vice president is Alice Bailey. She is with Environmental Consulting and Technology. Our secretary in 2020 was Susan Thompson with Wayne County Department of Environment. Our treasurer in 2020 was Andrew Hoffman with PricewaterhouseCoopers. And our 2020 directors are John Deslip, Paul Draus, Dr. Oren Gelderloos, Bill Hazel, Irma Leapart, David Maurice, Mike McNulty, Dave Norwood, Betsy Palazzola, Brandy Solacek, and Al Van Kerkhoff. And as of 2021, we have brought on 3 new board members. Our new secretary is Sarah Rubino. Our new treasurer is Samuel Loken. And our new director is Melissa Weidendorf. Welcome. And retired directors from 2020 are Dave Maurice, Betsy Palazzola, and Andrew Hoffman. Thank you so much for your service to our retired directors. And thank you so much for our now serving board of directors. Members, your participation in the annual elections is critical to forming an incredible board. We will be voting for board members again in November of 21. Be ready to vote. You can vote by proxy. That will be available again this year. We will send out a link on or before November 10th. Please let us know if you'd like to be considered for a board position or know someone who wants to join. If you do, you can email me at mmccormick@therouge.org. We also have an opportunity to join board committees as well, election or not. You do not have to be a board member to join the committees, and we actually encourage members of the public, volunteers, and more to join these official committees of the board. So we have 9 official committees, 8 of which are open to general membership, and those include our board development committee, which helps recruit, retain, and train board members. Our fund development committee, which helps with developing direction for fund development priorities and planning. Our finance committee, which oversees things like our annual budget. Membership committee, which assists Laura with membership acquisition, retention, and engagement. And our advocacy committee, newly formed this year, which helps direct priorities around advocacy in our watershed. In addition, we have the Lower Rouge River Water Trail Leadership Committee, which oversees the development of the water trail on the Lower Rouge. Our Public Involvement Advisory Committee, which helps oversee our public involvement programs like the monitoring programs, citizen science, and restoration. And our Rouge Education Project Committee, which helps oversee the REP program and assists our program manager in guiding the direction of the program. And lastly, we have our Executive Committee, which is restricted to officers. So next is our staff members. Meet our staff members. I continue to be humbled by the passion and fortitude of these people I have the privilege to work with every day. The Friends of the Rouge team not only hold expertise, but hold heart for the work within the watershed. Each day they share their talents with the community, giving endlessly of their time beyond the confines of their job duties. Thank you. So in alphabetical order by last name, Matthew Bertrand is Restoration Coordinator, Erin Cassidy, Education Manager, Laura Edwards, Development Coordinator, Karen Hanna, Operations Director, Jacqueline Hekela, Restoration Assistant, Herman Jenkins, Trails Manager, Sally Petrella, Monitoring Manager, Cindy Ross, Restoration Manager, and Carlos Santa Cruz, Restoration Assistant. And we are excited to welcome a couple new staff members. They will be part-time restoration assistants, Eli Lowry and Renato Marimon. Both Eli and Renato will start, I think Eli started, they'll both start next week. So we're very excited to have them join our team. In addition, we'll be bringing on an intern, Dallas Ford, as a restoration intern next week as well. And then we also are in the process of selecting a second restoration intern, a University of Michigan environmental fellow, and an invasive species intern. So we are so jazzed to have so many amazing staff members, interns, fellows join our team. Please reach out to us if you have an interest in learning more, chatting with any of our staff, interns, etc. Normally at annual meetings, you get the opportunity to see each of these incredible people in person. While that is not possible, again, reach out to all of us. Set up a virtual coffee if you wish to chat further. We love to hear from all of you. So kicking off our Keystone meeting to discuss all the successes of 2020, I just want to talk about how we develop our Keystone programs with the needs of our community and the changing watershed landscape. You will see that progress in all of our programmatic reports this afternoon. As you listen to this virtual program, we hope it inspires continued participation with Friends of the Rouge. Friends of the Rouge just thrive because of the generosity of so many who have provided both volunteer and financial support. We know the value of that generosity and thank all who have made this work possible to protect and preserve the Rouge River. For those of you who have tirelessly dedicated time and energy to the success of this organization, thank you. For those of you who are new, welcome. We look forward to working with all of you in 2021. And before we go on, I just want to show you the front cover of our 2020 annual report. It is now ready for your eyes. Jackie will drop a link in the chat to our 2020 annual report virtual edition. And if you wish to have a hard copy, we will leave a stack of them outside of Friends of the Rouge headquarters, second floor in Plymouth, for you to grab. So up next, I'd like to introduce Karen Hanna, our operations director, who will discuss our 2020 financial performance. Karen.
Thank you, Marie. 2020 was a difficult year for many nonprofits due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and Friends of the Rouge was not immune. The beginning of the year was challenging, but due to the hard work and tremendous efforts of Marie and the entire staff, we finished 2020 with great success. When comparing the 2020 fiscal year with 2019, the results were encouraging. Next slide, please. Large government and foundation grants were awarded at the end of 2020. This resulted in an increase of government grant support of 424% and an increase in foundation grant support of 180% over 2019. Other grant support increased by 18%. All of these grants combined made up 78% of our total 2020 revenue. Due to the changing priorities of corporations and the uncertain financial future of individuals, our corporate and public support decreased by 34% and 15% respectively. As we look at our fundraising figures, I cannot stress enough the unprecedented generosity of our individual donors and sponsors in our time of need, and the humble appreciation that the entire staff and board have for their support. Beginning with membership. Membership revenue was increased by 43% over 2019. Additionally, we launched several successful fundraising campaigns in 2020. We launched a COVID-19 appeal, 2 Giving Tuesday appeals, and a year-end appeal, together raising over $50,000 combined. Our Rouge Uncruise virtual series, a giant leap of faith that turned into a tremendous success, raised over $23,000 from sponsors and participants. New to 2020 was the Friends of the Rouge store. Friends of the Rouge wanted to create a way for Rouge River watershed citizens to stay engaged while staying at home by selling native plants, rain barrels, and composters. The store raised over $46,000. At the beginning of 2020, when the governor declared a shelter in place, we knew that we wouldn't be holding in-person events or programs. Facing an uncertain ability for us to meet our financial needs, Friends of the Rouge applied for and successfully secured a Paycheck Protection Program loan from the Small Business Administration. This loan was subsequently forgiven, resulting in a $100,000 other revenue that you see here in the chart. Another uncertainty that we faced was how well our investments would fare in 2020. As we expected, our investment value dropped by 72%, but still finished the year with nominal earnings. Next slide, please. Fortunately, Friends of the Rouge expenses remained stable, with $778,680 spent in 2020 compared to $738,670 spent in 2019, a year-over-year increase of only $40,000. There was a shift in our functional expenses as our operations changed to fit our current situation. As we look forward to 2021 and beyond, we continually strive to provide quality programming, exciting hands-on volunteer opportunities, and expert services to citizens throughout the watershed. We remain committed to upholding our financial integrity and our transparent reporting practices. And as we go through the remainder of the presentation, you'll see where all of our successes have paid off and who contributed to our success. Thank you. Marie?
Thank you, Karen. So the image on the top right, or I'm sorry, on your top left from our Facebook page, some of you may have recalled, garnered over 16,000 reach. Friends of the Rouge has placed a major focus on education and public outreach in 2020. Note the numbers in the table to the right. The jump to virtual came with a unique silver lining. We built a bigger tent. We widened our coverage, provided access to many who may not have otherwise been able to attend. Participation in our Rain Gardens 101 course, usually attracting around 100 participants, attracted over 1,500. Our classic fundraiser event, Rouge Cruise, shifted to a 5-day series over a 5-week period. We renamed the Rouge Uncruise, took viewers on a virtual paddle up the most downstream 8 miles of the Rouge River. This virtual platform removed the historic cost barrier and space limitation. We hosted over 1,600 viewers over a 5-week period, whereas we usually can only have space for 160 at a one-time only event. These virtual activities came with significant positive feedback from users. Many participants in our virtual Master Rain Gardener course let us know they prefer the virtual format, removing the need to drive long distances or find childcare. I'm extremely proud of our ability to adapt in response to the pandemic, and by making a seamless transition to remote work and pivoting critical programs to a virtual format. This has included social channel-led campaigns like #NatureIsOpen, #RecreateResponsibly, and our most engaging #TakeMeToTheRiver, where we took viewers to a different location on the Rouge River every Tuesday from April to August. We opened our computer cameras to virtual coffee hours and reshaped Rouge Rescue at home activities to do safely with quarantine households via our new WeSpire interactive platform to help residents rescue the Rouge every day. Through these efforts, we tipped the earned media scales, increasing our media hits from 171 in 2019 to 440 in 2020. Paired with nearly doubling our impressions to 206 million, made for an earned value equivalency of 1.9 million. In 2020, Friends of the Rouge continued to play a vital role in guiding public knowledge about important issues in the watershed. We advocate for the health of our watershed, the Rouge River and its tributaries, and all of those, both human and non-human, who live here, and value the rich racial and ethnic diversity of our watershed, and see that as a key factor in advancing our mission and deepening our work in the communities we strive to serve. We appreciate the opportunities from councils, committees, and in events where Friends of the Rouge can lay the framework for mission-driven, meaningful advocacy and lobbying to educate and advise on issues relevant to our work. This work lives within the legal framework of a nonprofit and is informed by extensive research and guided by examples set by other nonprofits to operate effective and legally acceptable practices. So you may notice that there's no photos of us doing this advocacy work this year because we weren't at events in person, but nevertheless, we participated in an incredible amount of advocacy in 2020. Some of the highlights include invitations to meetings with leadership from the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, commonly called EGLE, Department of Natural Resources, or DNR, and Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, or MDARD, presenting, or the executive director serving as a panelist to present to state legislators and their staff via Michigan Water School on Zoom, participation in the water table to discuss and regionally take action on collective statewide water priorities. As executive director, I was appointed as a member of the Michigan Environmental Council's Policy and Advisory Committee, which advises the MEC staff on member groups' responses to legislative issues around water. And as executive director, I was appointed as a council member of the Dearborn Water Systems Advisory Council to address lead and copper rule in drinking water in the city of Dearborn. In addition, Friends of the Rouge has maintained an active role in the Rouge River Advisory Council that serves as the public advisory committee for the Rouge River area of concern. This group oversees large-scale habitat projects meant to delist the Rouge as an AOC. And Friends of the Rouge is helping to serve on the stakeholder committee that is moving the Concrete Channel AOC project forward in line with 2019 recommendations. That is in partnership with the ARC and Friends of the Detroit River and many other partners who are joining us this evening. So advocacy has steadily increased over the past year, with Friends of the Rouge's board of directors formalizing an advocacy committee in August of 2020. So this committee, I mentioned that a little earlier in our presentation, assists the executive director in making informed decisions regarding response and participation around our comments concerning environmental issues. This new committee has worked on submitting formalized statements in opposition to a permit from Advanced Disposal to discharge leachate in Johnson Creek near the headwaters of Middle Rouge, and another to Wayne County recommending alternatives to future land development and sale, just to name a few. We continue to grow in this role and seek opportunities for personal and professional development as Friends of the Rouge moves into more advocacy and a little lobbying work. We are encouraged and honored by the public reception and the level of trust the public places on us. And just as a reminder, as we continue to move through this process, please put comments and questions in the Q&A section of the bottom of your screen. And with that, I'd like to introduce Laura Edwards, our development coordinator, who will discuss membership. Laura.
Hi. Next slide, please. Although the ducks are really cute, I could talk about the ducks. Thank you, Marie, and a really warm thank you to the members and friends of the Rouge. You are truly the glue that holds this organization together. And in thinking about membership organizations, they're kind of a curious thing. You know, usually membership comes along with access, like access to a museum or access to a zoo. And you, dear friends of the Rouge, have taken that equation and really flipped it on its head. It is you that has given us access to your values, access to your belief in a better river, and access to your hearts. Thank you. It is a true honor. Thank you for all that you make possible, all the wonderful things you make possible for a better river. And this year, especially with COVID, to find ways to connect with you even more and share the impact that you're making, we introduced a few new items. We are collecting stories, your river stories. If you haven't shared yours, boy, oh boy, would we love to hear it. We've been publishing Your River, Your Story as a feature in the Rouge Rundown. And I'm putting my own email in the chat right now. If you have a story, please do share yours with friends and the community today. We've also been updating members with the Friends Member Minute. It's check your inbox for impact that you make possible. And finally, we've been reaching out over the phone to welcome you back as returning members and to welcome our new members with help from the board. Thank you, board, because we are so happy to have you on this team. And if you are not a member yet, all I can say is the river is missing just one thing, and that is you. Become a member today. And now with my wonderful colleague, Erin, we'd like to shift gears and take a moment to pay tribute to some truly exceptional longtime friends. Take it away, Erin.
Thank you, Lara. We are so glad to have all of you here with us for a special part of this program. The Friends of the Rouge staff would like to take a moment to honor the following members. Those you see listed are our long-standing Friends of the Rouge.
Thanks. These long-standing friends have been members for at least a decade. Many are this organization's founding members, former and current board members, dedicated volunteers, and supporters.
We thank you and celebrate your legacy of impact for a better Rouge River. It is our honor to serve you and work alongside you for a more vibrant river and community for this generation and the next. I will now turn it over to Restoration Manager Cindy Ross to kick off our program reports.
Thank you, Erin. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm excited to share our updates from last year. Friends of the Rouge restoration programs encouraged 1,181 people to become better stewards of their land and water resources through the following programs: Rain Gardens to the Rescue, a Master Rain Gardener, Land and Waterworks Coalition, Rouge Rescue, and through our new online store. To illustrate the impact of our work, I thought I'd share a story with you about one of our Detroit Rain Garden host sites and partner, Bandu Gardens. Bandu Gardens is an urban community garden located in Detroit on the edge of Hamtramck, in the heart of the Bengali neighborhood. The garden is an intergenerational and multilingual program that uses gardening as a cross-cultural bridge. Bandu Gardens has been a social hub for growing food, bringing the community together and connecting neighbors. In 2020, they partnered with Friends of the Rouge and Sierra Club through the Land and Waterworks Coalition to engage the community and students in the Hamtramck High School Environmental Club in learning about water issues, combined sewer overflows, and rain gardens as a solution. The students were involved with the design of their rain garden. They worked alongside families from the community to install their rain garden. And once established, the garden will help reduce street flooding, attract pollinators to support their fruit production, and beautify the neighborhood for years to come. 14 rain gardens that will prevent as much as 250,000 gallons of rainwater from entering the combined sewer system annually were installed in Detroit last year alone. 2020 saw the launch of the Friends of the Rouge store, bringing low-cost rain barrels, native plants, composters, and more to Rouge residents. All told, 400 Southeast Michigan residents purchased 420 rain barrels and over 4,000 plugs of native plants. The sales brought in roughly $46,000, as you previously heard, in revenue to support Friends of the Rouge efforts. And the advertising efforts for the sales showed nearly 450,000 positive environmental messages to over 100,000 residents. Rouge Rescue was vastly different this year due to COVID-19. The annual stewardship, excuse me, as you heard Marie say earlier, the stewardship event quickly shifted from an in-person activities to an online platform that provided a fun and easy way for people to keep engaged while at home and empowered them to take steps to be river stewards and rescue the Rouge every day. Over 300 individuals from across the state participated in a variety of educational, creative, and action-oriented programming that they could do from home, in their own backyard, or in their community. Participants earned virtual badges along the way. An estimated 984 garbage bags, grocery-sized garbage bags of trash, and 790 bags of invasive plant species were removed. So this is a little bit different than we've tallied in the past, but this was what we had to work with. And 8 trees were planted. So you all did great work on your own, in your yards, in your communities. It's just amazing. So I don't do this work alone. I couldn't do this work alone. So I'd like to introduce my team. Matthew Bertrand, Restoration Coordinator. Jackie Hicula, Restoration Assistant. And acknowledge Carlos Santa Cruz, our Restoration Intern, who couldn't be here today. All of whom helped implement and inspire this great work. So I thank you all for your help and support. I'm also really excited, as you learned, we'll be bringing on, our restoration team is growing, pun intended. We'll be bringing on 2 new part-time staff and 2 new interns and an environmental fellow. So it's super exciting. I thank you. I thank you for the opportunity to help us make such a positive impact on our water resources. Erin, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Thanks, Cindy. So for our educational programming, we started off last year with great momentum. We were coming off an inspiring symposium that was held near the end of 2019, where students shared river monitoring data, and we encouraged the development of student-led action projects based on what they found. We held a volunteer training in early March, and of course, a week later, COVID hit Michigan, and in-person schooling was one of the numerous casualties. Imagine being a classroom educator then. Imagine being a classroom educator now. Despite the numerous professional and personal challenges the teachers we work with were facing, Diana Johns of Crestwood High School was out there in the spring with her son, who was home from college, collecting data to avoid a big gap in 33 years worth. She and 3 other schools were able to safely get their students to the river in the fall for continued testing. We will actually be featuring 2 of her students later on that continued their research on the Rouge through last year and into this one. We continue to adapt and grow our educational umbrella to not only work with school groups, but to encourage collaboration with young folks on projects to help the river, incorporate more educational references such as our Take Me to the River and Uncruise video series, along with online activities where participants can learn to identify strengths and issues in their community and work to solve them, earning points and fun badges in the process. It is hosted on the WeSpire platform that we've mentioned a couple times before, and it worked really well for us during Rouge Rescue last year. It now contains some activities that can be done from home or school, and they're open to everyone. The first 4 of 6 campaigns are available now at friendsoftherouge.wespire.com, so you can check it out. I continue to be inspired by our environmental education community, and last year taught us that we are stronger together. Thanks for your time, and I will now turn it over to Monitoring Manager Sally Petrella to discuss our monitoring efforts. Take it away, Sally.
Thanks, Erin. It's great to be here. Good afternoon. So our monitoring programs, we are starting to refer to them more as citizen science to recognize the contributions that our scientists are making to our understanding of the natural world. At this point, even the EPA is developing policies to include the work of citizen scientists as a really important contribution. So our programs get people out in the field sampling for bugs and fish, listening for frogs and toads, and the data that they collect are a critical part of understanding the health of the watershed. So we started this year out with our winter stonefly search, and we brought on intern Michael Salinas. You see him there in the center in orange. He spent his first day collecting stoneflies in a cold downpour, yet he still continues to volunteer with us even way beyond his internship. Something new we added to the stonefly search this year is we started testing our sites for road salt, which was actually very shocking to find some very high levels, and we are going to continue to investigate this. For our frog and toad survey, we held one workshop in March 7th, with this young participant. And then we suddenly had to cancel our second workshop as the pandemic hit and the library that was scheduled to host it was shut down. Amazingly, almost all of the registered participants or volunteers actually agreed to train themselves, and people flocked to the frog and toad survey, since going outdoors and listening for frogs and toads is one of the few things that you could do safely during the pandemic. As one volunteer put it, few things are more comforting in these times than nature. And surveyors with kids were very grateful to have an excuse to take the kids outside, even if it was after dark. By April, it was clear that we could not hold the spring bug hunt. So instead, we held a live Facebook event. And while that didn't engage people in person, we still had 1,300 viewers and a surprise appearance by a bald eagle. Our team leaders visited sites on their own, like bug hunt team leader Tamika and her son Ryan that you see pictured here. By summer, we were able to start doing fish surveys with a stripped down crew of 3 staff and 2 dedicated volunteers that underwent daily health screenings and wore masks all the time, even in 90-degree heat. In the fall, we were able to hold the fall bug hunt with team leaders picking up their supplies rather than meeting together in a big group and meeting their team out in the field, masked and socially distanced. We held another hackathon with Ford, where some of the Ford data experts took a crack at crunching our data and looking for patterns. They found some correlations with our land cover data and the bug scores. And this has led to the hiring of a summer fellow from the Cooperative Institute for Great Lakes Research, and she's going to be starting next month. And then lastly, we added an additional monitoring program to survey for European frog bit. That's pictured up there. I guess frogs bite it. Anyway, it's an invasive aquatic plant that's invaded our watershed in Novi, and we're going to be working on doing some surveys in that area. As many of you know, our monitoring programs have been struggling for funding over the past few years as funding sources have focused on boots on the ground projects. Without monitoring, how do we know if these projects are successful? So this year we found a more sustainable source for the bug hunts when we asked the communities, the cities and townships, if they would sponsor the sites that we monitor in their community. And quite a few of them did. Some additional sources have come through, and we are grateful to all of our sponsors and all of our dedicated citizen scientists who've done an amazing job of adapting to this new COVID world, contributing 1,849 hours even in a COVID year. So moving on to trails, kayaks have been flying off the shelf like toilet paper this year, and we've made significant strides on the Rouge River Water Trail. The Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation approved a $330,000 grant to support 3 trailheads and the design of the next phase of the Gateway Trail. This year, the new Fort Street Bridge Park was finally built after a decade of work on it. And in October, we joined the Fort Rouge Gateway Partnership in cutting the ribbon and honoring donors. Friends of the Rouge has become the fiduciary for phase 2 of this project, which will include an accessible kayak launch. We continued to work with the communities along the trail, meeting with officials to discuss the value of a water trail and connections into their community. And in October, it all came together when we organized a socially distanced group paddle from Melvindale to Fairlane Estate with 44 humans and 2 dogs. The Ralph C. Wilson funding has allowed us to expand the staff the staff that are working on trails. And earlier this year, we were able to hire Herman Jenkins as our new Trails Program Manager. And Herman is here tonight, and I think he'd like the opportunity to say hello. Herman?
Yeah, thank you, Sally. Just wanted to say hello to everyone. I'm very excited to join the Friends of the Rouge team, working as a program manager for Trails. It truly is a team. I mean that. Everyone here has been so welcoming, and I can truly tell that they're 100% committed to the mission. I'm excited about the potential for the water trail. The idea of connecting 10 communities, across the river, the idea of creating recreation opportunities and access to the river, returning the river to the people. I think it's awesome. Every day it's kind of been like a Nat Geo episode. I'm learning a ton. There's more to learn and lots to do. So I'm excited to get it going.
Thanks, Herman. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you.
And I will turn it back to Marie now.
Thanks, Sally. Thanks, Herman. Thanks to all the program managers who gave those really great reports. It's so inspiring to hear all of that from you. So next, we will begin the award ceremony portion of our program. Awardees will be granted panelist permission, so please be on the lookout for that. So we kindly invite you to turn your camera on and unmute yourself to accept your award if you so choose and say a few words. But do please wait until your award is announced to unmute and turn on your camera. So the Stewardship Awards honor those who have served a lifetime in dedication to environmental stewardship. In particular, those who have given many years of service to Friends of the Rouge. Last year, we honored Sally Petrella and Michael Darga. Sally celebrated 20 years of service to Friends of the Rouge, and Michael Darga celebrated 28 years of service on the board. And this year, we honor another lifelong serving staff member, Cindy. So I am pleased to have the honor of presenting Cindy Ross, our restoration manager at the Friends of the Rouge Stewardship Award. This is an award given to those who have dedicated a lifetime to advancing the mission of Friends of the Rouge. This year marks Cindy's 20th year of service with Friends of the Rouge. She has fostered the restoration program from organizing a Rouge rescue, securing sponsorships, building partnerships across the watershed, to leading a growing team of restoration professionals under her wing. Since I started in 2017, I've had the pleasure of watching Cindy continue to expand the restoration programmatic reach, hiring on and training exceptionally knowledgeable staff like Matthew and Jackie, and other short-term staff and intern. As of this week, I'm delighted to report Cindy will now foster a team of 4 team members, 3 interns, a fellow, growing the restoration program to 8 members. And I think that's right, but it could be bigger. Cindy has immensely raised the profile of the organization's restoration work in the Rouge, regularly harnessing her grant writing superpowers to bring an incredible amount of funding to jumpstart, sustain, and grow her work. From rain gardens to the rescue in Detroit, in partnerships with the Michigan chapter of Sierra Club, to create rain gardens with and for residents, Detroit area nonprofits, where they get to participate to design and install their own rain gardens and 2 others, now burgeoning on a partnership with Sacred Grounds program, merge their pollinator focus with our stormwater focus to assist houses of worship in offsetting large stormwater fees. to her integrative work with Land and Water Coalition, Waterworks Coalition, her stormwater specialist training for green collar workforce development, sustaining and morphing Rouge Rescue to a more dynamic program beyond trash cleanup to invasive species removal, native plantings, woody debris management, educational programming, and more, to supporting the expansion of rain garden services and other nature-based solutions to all of Metro Detroit, and so much more I have not mentioned today. Cindy's, your work has made an incredible impact on the health of the Rouge River and on the communities through which it flows. She meets her work with an ever-ready, cheerful, friendly, and approachable disposition, and brings an unwavering passion for her work and the people she works with. I am honored each day to call Cindy my colleague and partner in our collective work to better our hometown watershed. So Cindy, with that, I'd like to present this award to you for your tireless dedication to the Rouge. This is this dragonfly was created by our maintenance man, Dan McMahon, Man's brother, who is the smallest one, but who practices welding as a hobby. So we created a set of frogs for Sally Petrella and Michael Darga last year. But we felt that dragonfly best represented Cindy in her work with restoration and rain gardens. Cindy, your final award will be a giant red dragonfly, twice the size of what you see pictured here, and will include a placard with your name, the award, and the date. So Cindy, I'll give you the chance if you'd like to say a few words. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you, Marie, and thank you, everyone. I truly am honored by this. I love what I do. I appreciate everyone that I work with every day. I'm just so honored to have a career that I love so much and that I get to make a difference every day. So thank you.
We appreciate you, Cindy. Good job.
Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you.
So next, we're going to move on to our second annual Young Environmental Leader Award that was introduced in 2019. The first recipients being the Roper School. This award honors the work of our young leaders as incredible change makers for a better world today and for the future. This afternoon, Erin Cassidy, our education manager, will introduce this year's recipients. Erin?
Thanks, Marie. So Zainab Awada and Haneen Fuani are extraordinary Crestwood High School seniors that have conducted water quality monitoring on the Rouge for the past 3 years, which at their age is almost 20% of their life. They were exposed to monitoring as sophomores through their teacher, Diana Johns. And Diana and Zainab and Haneen, feel free to turn on your cameras as I'm kind of going through here. So they were exposed to monitoring through Diana Johns, who has been taking students to the river as part of our Rouge Education Project since its inception. They not only designed their own water quality study for the International Student Data Collection Program, GLOBE, they synthesized and presented their findings for GLOBE and also presented Crestwood's monitoring data at the Friends of the Rouge Student Symposium in 2019. They continued their research even after their first project was complete, which involved having to conduct field work during a pandemic, and shared their findings at 3 more student symposiums and the American Geophysical Union's annual conference, even when everything went virtual last year. And of course, they were part of the very small group of students that were out collecting data in the fall once again for our Rouge Education Project. This scientific duo did not stop there. They continued to mentor younger students embarking on water research at school, meeting virtually to help them make sense of their data. Zainab is also an elected honorary student commissioner of the Dearborn Heights Watershed Commission, and both her and Haneen help maintain the city's 3 rain gardens. Now they are wrapping up their final year of research on a study that came out of a question we posed during the student symposium, comparing fecal coliform and nitrate levels along 2 different branches of the Rouge. We are very much looking forward to reading the results of this latest study. Zainab and Haneen You have clearly demonstrated your passion for the Rouge River and watershed protection by not only studying the river and contributing meaningful data in your free time, but using every outlet possible to share your passion by presenting your findings and resulting land use recommendations, actively working to protect and restore the river, and fostering the next group of student researchers at school. Our Young Environmental Leader Award is reserved for students whose acts of environmentalism inspire. Your commitment is a true inspiration to all of us. And on behalf of Friends of the Rouge and the Rouge River, we thank you by presenting you with these awards. So we will get those to you. And their teacher, Diana Johns, is with us today. And I would like to invite her to say a couple words if she has anything she wants to add.
Add a couple of things. Thank you so much, Erin and Friends of the Rouge, for honoring these students. They're indicative of the interest that so many of our young people have in the river because they live right alongside of it. So thank you for the support that you and your organization has given us, because without this support, these students could never, have the ability to do some of the research that they do. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for all of your work that you've done over the years to foster these amazing research projects. And I would also like to invite Zainab and Haneen if you guys would like to say anything.
I just want to say thank you.
You are so welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate you. All right. Well, thank you. And I will now turn it back over to Marie for our Best Friend of the Rouge Awards.
Thank you so much, Erin, and congratulations to both of you. It's really impressive, and I love to see young women in this field just really taking charge. It's awesome. So good job. Next, we're going to move into the final phase of our program, the Best Friends of the Rouge Award. This award was introduced in 1993 to honor those who have gone above and beyond their job description or regular call of duty to help the Rouge. The first recipients of this award were Dr. Oren Gelderloos as an educator, John Dingle as elected official for his work with the Rouge River National Wet Weather Demonstration Project, DWSD as a governmental unit, and Steve Marshall, who was a founding board member, as an individual. We have so many individuals who make this Rouge watershed a better place to live, work, and play. So we are excited to celebrate 3 special awardees who have gone far beyond the call of the watershed to help in their own way. So first off, I have the honor of introducing the National Kidney Foundation of Michigan as recipient of the Best Friends of the Rouge Award. I'd especially like to recognize Sam Shapinski, Teresa Tejada, Samantha Rad, and Elizabeth Sensing. And Sam, Teresa, Sam, and Elizabeth, I believe, are joining us here. Hi, everyone. Welcome. The National Kidney Foundation was selected for this award because of their commitment to our organization and dedication to promoting and restoring the Rouge River. You provided support for the Lower Rouge River Water Trail by funding essential capacity building that is just absolutely critical to the success of this program. Without this funding, Friends of the Rouge would not have been able to integrate the trail into a larger regional framework of non-motorized connections to create a robust funding stream for the built environment, or for even hiring our full-time staff person, Herman, to serve as a liaison and project manager for this work across the region. This funding and support has helped fulfill our mission of promoting awareness and stewardship of the Rouge River watershed by creating capacity to develop meaningful and intentional and equitable access to green spaces in our community. National Kidney Foundation of Michigan, you embrace the idea of developing blueways and access to communities that have not historically thought of paddling on their neighborhood river. We deeply appreciate your enthusiastic participation in your entire National Kidney Foundation of Michigan's team, and for helping us and other partners usher in a vision of multi-community linked trails. So with that, here is your award. And I'm virtually giving it to you, but we will get in touch shortly to get it to you in person. So with that, Sam Shapinski, I'd like to invite you to say a few words and your team.
Oh, thank you, Marie. So on behalf of the National Kidney Foundation of Michigan, it's an honor to receive this recognition. For the past few years, my team has worked closely with you, Sally, Lara, now Herman, really the entire staff and volunteers with Friends of the Rouge. Our mission is to prevent kidney disease and improve the lives of those living with kidney disease. We're a public health organization, especially interested in health equity and healthy lifestyles. And too often there's a bit of a disconnect between our physical health and well-being and the environment around us. And really, those two are so intricately connected. We admire the leadership of Friends of the Rouge and what you provide to the water trail and your commitment to creating equitable access to connected green spaces. We couldn't be happier to collaborate with you and look forward to partnership for years to come. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sam. That's great. I really appreciate it. It's an honor to partner with you and your team. It's a delight every time. So Teresa or other Sam, anything else you want to add?
I can't say it better than Sam. So just very honored and love working with you guys.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate you being here this afternoon at 80-degree weather. So I see Teresa, you're enjoying it. So are you, Sam. Good to see that. And thanks again.
So I have the honor of presenting the second Best Friend of the Rouge Award to Steve Weiss. Steve, are you here?
I am.
Ah, okay. Let me see if I can see you there.
Hello, I don't have a camera. You can't see my circa 2019 orange Rouge Rescue shirt, my Friends Rouge baseball cap. Sorry about that.
Okay, well, we can imagine, and we're just happy you could join us. So, so some people make a lot of noise about what they do, and others work under the radar. And for 17 years, Steve Weiss has been cleaning up the river, leading teams of volunteers to look for bugs in the river, helping with fish surveys, opening up log jams, always being there when we needed a hand, always being a reliable volunteer, which just makes it so much easier to accomplish the work that we do. In 2009, he trained as a bug hunt team leader. He leads a team at most of our bug hunts and stonefly searches, and even comes out on weekdays to assist with bug surveys, with fish surveys when he can. And here he is sampling the river with a net, you see there with his mask on. And then on the right, he's helping to staff our bug display at Shiver on the River, Friends of the Detroit River event, where we had a Friends of the Rouge table, and he was there teaching kids about bugs very enthusiastically. He's a regular volunteer for Rouge Rescue, helping to open up log jams and assisting with our work to open up the river for the water trail. Steve's always a pleasure to talk with. He's just so knowledgeable about watershed issues. He lends us his advisory skills, having served on the board and also on our public involvement committee. I think he's been on that committee just about as long as that committee has been around. He's helped to organize some of our fundraising events, our Run for the Rouge, our Rouge Brews, other fundraisers, countless hours of meetings. And I remember one particular Run for the Rouge where he was out there helping Sue outline that trail in some big thunderstorm, scary thunderstorm. So a lot of dedication there. He also this year was a critical advisor for our Rouge Uncruise, sharing his knowledge about the industries along the route and happily answering Oren and my numerous questions about slag and blast furnaces and things. And Steve not only supports Friends of the Rouge, you saw his name on the dedicated member list that Aaron shared earlier, but he also supports and volunteers for numerous organizations that share similar goals of improving the Rouge and Detroit rivers, including the Holiday Nature Preserve Association, the Friends of the Detroit River, the former Johnson Creek Protection Group, and Save Hines Park. If an issue comes up that impacts the Rouge River or the Detroit River, Steve is there doing whatever he can to protect it. So I have the honor of presenting Steve. I wish I could give this to you in personally, and we will. Let me get it lined up with the camera there. But Stephen Weiss, you are a best friend of the Rouge, if there ever was one. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you so much, Sally. I really want to thank the organization for the opportunities they afford to so many of us who have this, restless energy to do something, just they have an interest, a passion, in the natural environment. There's that concept of think globally, act locally. And a lot of people on the call, I'm one of them, we're members of national conservation environmental organizations. That's great. There's so many great ones out there doing really good work. But with those, a lot of times what you get is eventually like a calendar, an occasional group of mailing labels, or a magazine. With a group like Friends of the Rouge, you really get to act locally by getting directly involved and getting your hands dirty, getting wet, sometimes soaking wet. I learned early on to bring a change of clothes to some of the activities. You get to experience firsthand how an organization as volunteers can really make a difference in protecting and advocating for a local natural feature like the Rouge River watershed. You get to see how the work is done, who's doing it, and how our individual involvement makes such a difference. And when you do that, you can't help but feel investment and an ownership of the effort. So I really want to thank Friends of the Rouge for over 35 years and helping so many people become aware of the Rouge, the good aspects, the bad aspects, things, and be cleaning the gems in their own backyard through the hikes and some of the places we've been. I want to thank all the staff and board members, past, present, future, for all the great work you've done. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, I'm watching Channel 7 News on a Saturday morning, and lo and behold, there's Aaron doing a bug hunt with somebody from Channel 7 News. Then the second half, there's Herman with her on a kayak. I mean, that to me is a microcosm of my involvement with this organization over the years. You have such talented, hardworking, passionate people involved with it, doing the work, and they're doing such a great job explaining and promoting it. To me, I can't help but feel this award. What you've essentially done is you've allowed me to have fun over the years and get involved in something rewarding. Then you actually recognize me for it. So I can't thank you enough for that. I mean, it's very humbling, and just, I'm so thankful. Thank you so much. I'm so proud to be part of this organization, an organization I feel so strongly about. I'm just so glad to be involved with it.
Well, we're so happy that you chose our organization to have fun with. We so appreciate your work. So congratulations, Steve.
And let the good times roll. It's so much fun to have. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. That was so well spoken. Thank you so much for sharing all those thoughts with us. Appreciate it. So next up, we're going to have Matthew presenting the next award.
All right, thanks, Marie. Colleen, are you with us? All right. I hope Colleen is with us. I think I saw her earlier. Colleen, I'm so pleased for the opportunity to award you the Julie Rose Friendship Outstanding Volunteer Award. It was created in 2011 as a special Best Friend of the Rouge Award to be presented to an individual who embodies the spirit of stewardship and the passion that our late board member, Julie Friendship, showed in helping to carry out the mission of Friends of the Rouge in her everyday life. Colleen, last year you made a huge difference for the Rouge River and for Rouge communities. 2020 was a difficult year, but you stepped up to the challenge. During the early months of the pandemic, your efforts were integral to Rouge Rescue's successful translation to the WeSpire online format. And then when communities started reopening in June, you pitched in again on rain garden maintenance and at every single rain barrel and native plant sales event throughout the entire year. For these inaugural programs, your thoughtfulness, your attention to detail, critical thinking skills throughout improved the quality of experience for community participants. This is especially true for the native plant sale, which after a little bit of a rocky start with the first one, you took on as your own for the second sale, revamping systems, recruiting volunteers, including your family to ensure success. And finally, you envisioned and implemented the Rouge Creature Feature column this year, writing over 16 meticulously researched articles. And in 21, you expanded the feature to include plants as well, the Flora feature. And today's episode on, or issue on the Pussy Willow just came out, and I encourage everyone listening to take a look. It's a great read. So your efforts have made an appreciable difference in engaging Rouge residents with their river. We truly appreciate your time and energy on behalf of the river itself. So Colleen, I just saw you had a note in the chat. Looks like the microphone's not working. I'll just read what you had to say out loud so everyone can hear it. that you just wanted to say thank you for this honor, or you really enjoyed the opportunity to help and have learned so much. Thank you, Colleen. We're so glad to have your efforts, have you working with us on behalf of the river. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Matthew, can we see the award?
Oh yeah, right in front of me. I got so busy talking, I forgot to actually show it. Here you go, Colleen. And I'll get it to you as soon as I can.
I want to echo some of the things that Matthew just said. Colleen, I haven't gotten to spend a lot of time with you, but I love the creature features. They are so cool and so well written. I can't thank you enough for your help on those. It's really made a vast improvement to our e-newsletter, and it's just given a depth that I think has really added a lot of value. So thank you so much. So looking ahead, we're really excited to share a few snippets of our upcoming work. We are looking to continue deepening our work around diversity, equity, and inclusion and justice, and seeking new ways to expand relationships with the communities we serve. Around the water trail and our future with that, our trails department includes greenways and blueways intersections along riparian corridors. We're so excited to have Herman on to lead the charge in developing an inclusive, accessible water trail and greenway trail systems that link our communities together. In addition, we are looking to continually expanding our restoration work to a regional level in collaboration with our sister watersheds via a social enterprise. This includes green collar workforce development program through the stormwater specialist training and other green infrastructure services. This summer, Friends of the Rouge is really excited about transforming our headquarters at Park, the Plymouth Arts and Rec Complex, to host a world-class demonstration project with over 25 pollinator-themed rain gardens, covering over 18,000 square feet that will support birds, butterflies, and bees. And in addition, we're going to continue to grow and participate in more public policy and advocacy discussions. Most recently, I had the honor of participating in Great Lakes Week with Healing Our Waters Coalition to discuss legislative priorities with our members of Congress and how they can tie into local watershed work. In addition, I will be participating in Action Days for Clean Water with River Network and American Rivers to continue discussions with legislators around water issues affecting our region. And just most recently, our staff, Sally and Aaron and myself, worked with the Michigan Extension and Michigan Sea Grant to speak with our state representatives around water issues as well. So we're really excited about that partnership through Water School. But just in general, Friends of the Rouge has a desire to work across water topics to gain a deeper understanding of how to uplift our mission through a regional and national lens. So I'd like to draw your attention to a few key dates here on the slide. Our team is hard at work planning controlled in-person and virtual engagement opportunities with our COVID-19 volunteer participation plan, which you can view on our website. We're excited to follow a rigorous safety protocol to keep you safe while we create a cleaner and more vibrant Rouge River together. Note that our events are all planned in person, but modified. Be sure to review event details as many of our events might still be offered in person, some hybrid, some virtual. And regardless, we hope you can join us. The Friends of the Rouge continue to work tirelessly towards our vision of a future where clean and vibrant Rouge River is the center of our community. Each and every one of you are the reason that we know that vision can become a reality. We can't wait to see you in person and maybe share a meal together when we join again for our next annual meeting. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll upload this presentation to our website in the next week and share a link via our e-newsletter. Really appreciate you joining us. It's been a pleasure to speak with you tonight. And at this time, we will transition to our town hall Q&A session. Again, so thank you to all of you who have participated in the Q&A so far. We see some great questions in the Q&A. Please continue to ask questions, pose comments, make suggestions for us to review. We will try to get to everyone. And we are super early. We were right on the mark, 1 hour and 14 minutes. We have a lot of time if everyone's interested, engaged, up till 5 o'clock. And if we don't have a lot of questions coming in, we can end early. This meeting is for you, so ask away. And if the whole Friends of the Rouge staff wants to turn on their cameras and be ready for any incoming questions, we'd love to have all hands on deck for any questions that come through.
Awesome. Thanks, Marie. Well, I guess while we're waiting on if anyone has any questions as they're typing them out, we had a few come up during our presentation today. So we'll just go ahead and get those ones out of the way. So first we had a question. They said, wondering if the board has thought about how at least some of the watershed areas could be considered a community of interest in terms of the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission. Sorry, that was a mouthful. So I don't believe they're currently have thought about that, but if anyone has any comments or even if any of the board members want to chime in regarding that.
So my understanding of the community mapping of Michigan's new redistricting process is something that is open to the public. Communities of interest can be a group of any size whose members share cultural, economic, historic, or other shared interests. Friends of the Rouge covers 48 communities, and we operate in a way that I'm not going to say that we don't see municipal boundaries, but we see our community in terms of a geographic area that's shared values is around a river and its upland habitat. So I don't know that Friends of the Rouge would really have a lot in terms of making comments around lines for a redistricting process. Does anyone else on the staff have anything to add with that? No.
All right, and then we had another question regarding Friends of the Rouge participation with other organizations. Fred asked, is Friends of the Rouge participating in creation of the Great Lakes Way stretching from southern Lake Huron through western Lake Erie?
I can answer that. So Friends of the Rouge is not participating in the process directly. It is something that's happening in tandem with the work that we're doing to develop the water trail. We're aware of it because our contractor for the development of some of the trails at Bellinger Park and Melvindale is privy to this work. And the kayak launch we're developing at Bellinger Park with the city of River Rouge is going to be considered a node on the Great Lakes Way. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Great Lakes Way, that is a trail, a Blue Way and a Greenway trail that parallel the edge of sort of the Detroit River and Lake St. Clair that's connecting Lake Huron all the way to Lake Erie. And so we are by proxy involved in it. I believe that the 4th Street Bridge Park is also being considered part of the Greenway portion of that trail, and Bellinger Park is being considered part of the Blue Way portion of the trail. And I guess by default, the 4th Street Bridge Park might be considered part of the Blue Ways as well. But thanks for asking that question. I think that's a really interesting concept. I'm really excited about it. And it just draws even more attention to the work that we're trying to do here in the Rouge.
Awesome. Thank you all for these wonderful questions. And again, if you have any other ones that you think of, feel free to put them in the Q&A. This next one's from Shelby. They say, it seems like virtual outreach and in-person events / outreach have their pros and cons. After the pandemic is over, how will Friends of the Rouge balance virtual and in-person activities?
So I don't want to swallow up all the air in the room, but I will just, I'll answer it in terms of an overall sort of vision for the future. And then maybe some of our staff can give some more hard answers, some more examples that might make sense. So we did see a lot of success in the virtual outreach in 2020, so much so that we were, I would even say maybe shocked by how much outreach we were able to accomplish. But we also have to keep in mind that everyone was sort of in the same storm at that time. And so everyone was looking for ways to engage virtually. I have a feeling people are itching for in-person a little bit more these days. So I believe we will be continuing both tracks, a hybrid model. So we might do some in-person classes. We might do some virtual classes. I think there's value in both. And I think that last year really taught us a lot. We really can use Zoom. We can engage with one another. I think that it has dropped a lot of barriers to engagement that we didn't even know were really there. But at the same time, we still do see an incredible amount of value in offering in person. I mean, you can't virtually plant a rain garden. We got to go do that. So there certainly are, in my mind, a trajectory of hybrid programs is something that we're going to continue to explore. Program managers, coordinators, assistants, do you all have any other things you'd like to add to that? Your thoughts or perspective?
I could speak to that a little bit. We actually brought this topic up at our last PI committee meeting. And similar to what Maria is saying, yes, people are really hungry for in-person events, and we will certainly get back to that as much as we can. And we already have done that with the fish surveys and the bug hunts. But I think that there are parts of what we had to do, what we were forced to do during the pandemic, that worked out pretty well and helped us to engage a broader audience. Some of our virtual trainings that many people couldn't attend, like our stonefly refresher was limited, who could come to the lab, who could come out in person. And we were able to open that up to a much wider audience. Same with even with our frog and toad survey, we were able to do that training. And we had people even from outside of the watershed, from outside of the state, who attended that. And normally we limit that to people who are pretty much committed to following through and doing the survey. And when you didn't have that room limit, we can open it up a lot more. So I think it's still going to be a learning process, and we'll see what works, but definitely look at kind of a hybrid and take some of the lessons that we were forced to learn during COVID and adopt some of that.
I agree with all those sentiments. Personally, for me, transitioning Rouge Rescue to an online format was definitely a new step. I think it was a great way to put more education focus and put the stewardship into your hands, because you can rescue the Rouge every day. And we're just here to help you with that. So we are looking forward to doing a hybrid model of Rouge Rescue this year with both in-person cleanup events and our online competition fire. So we for all that great fun too.
Thanks, Jackie. Okay, Jackie, do we have any more questions that you see?
I think that was all the unanswered questions. There was another question from Barb earlier that Karen had answered in the chat as well. Yeah, if anyone has any questions or comments, now is the time. And we thank you all for these wonderful, thoughtful questions too.
If you want me to, I can share the question that Barb asked in the chat in case anybody missed that. She asked, with changing to do more advocacy, do the articles of organization have to change, or how does this change the organization's mission or intent? I directed her to the Friends of the Rouge website where our articles of incorporation are posted in our organizational documents. But one of the purposes for which Friends of the Rouge was incorporated was to, and I quote the articles, to advocate actions that restore and develop the potential of the Rouge River. So hopefully that answered Barb's question and she was able to take a look at the articles, but any of you can look at the articles as well. They're, like I said, they're on the website under our organizational docs. And yeah, advocacy is definitely one of the things that our founders thought of when organizing Friends of the Rouge.
Thanks for that, Karen. This has been a very thoughtful and long-term process that the organization has undergone in deciding to move forward with some more advocacy work. I have seen the community turn to Friends of the Rouge and the expertise that's on this board and on the staff to ask for assistance, to give voice to give guidance. And, you know, I think there's sometimes been a sense of hesitancy around that, but I think that it's important for us to stand up for the river because we are the voice of the river. And I cheesily always love like the quote from the Lorax, I am the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees, for the tree has no tongue. And I think of myself and this organization as the Lorax of the Rouge. So I think it's just, it's important that we speak for the Rouge and the river that, you know, is in our backyard. And so I'm really excited that the organization is moving forward in this direction and that, you know, we can tell the story and advocate for its future. So with that, I don't see any other questions coming in. I just want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you who've been here this evening, to staff, to board, to our volunteers, to our members, to all the awardees tonight. And please contact us anytime. If you want to set up a virtual coffee like we did last year, please reach out. And with that, have a lovely evening. Maybe get outside and enjoy some of this amazing, amazing weather. With that, good night, everyone.